It's worth €200. It's a voucher for 1 free meal of either dermal or lip filler.
There you go. Can't do better than that. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Island's Got Curves on the plus side, living the plus side of life. So delighted you could join us today, and so delighted to be joined by Michelle.
Thanks so much.
And Michelle here has a clinic in Newbridge in Kildare and does all kinds of wonderful things, and things that you don't always associate and think are for the everyday person. I'm going to actually let you introduce your clinic to me and the services that you do here.
So I've been in the beauty industry for over 20 years, and I've got really high qualifications when it comes to likes of skincare. So I was studying cosmeceuticals for a long time, and then I discovered that an awful lot of people coming to the likes of spas and saying they wanted to look a lot younger in themselves, but they couldn't actually A, afford it, and B, you know, certain things they wanted to change about themselves that they couldn't actually put themselves out there because it's seen as a vanity thing. So I went and I trained down at the University of Aesthetics in the UK. So I trained for quite a while with them. So I gained, not only have I got a master's in dermal fillers, but I also have advanced practitioner and advanced specialist when it comes to dermal fillers, so I can rebuild someone's face. So I also discovered then, in the course of the time that I've been open, that there's an awful lot of people being missed in society. So we're talking about people who are transgender. So they'll come in and it's male to female or female to male. I will either feminize a face or masculinize a face, whoever needs it. And then I also had an awful lot of messages and phone calls from people that were survivors of domestic violence. You know, they've gone to just mainstream clinics and they were turned away because nobody was able to help them, or they had to live with a stigma on their face. And then I set up Je Juve because I had an idea that I wanted to be able for these people to come in, have something done, feel better about themselves without having to walk into a spa, spend the best part of €100 on a facial, and then having to pay up to €200 or €300 for aftercare that clinical trials might see a difference in so many weeks. With regards to the likes of the domestic violence, I noticed that my staff were getting an awful lot of messages and calls asking could we basically help them. So what I did was that I started to help people around Christmas time. People who didn't want to look into a mirror and see someone else's bad choice look back at their faces, or someone who had a communion and they didn't want their child seeing a reminder of why mommy has that scar or daddy has that scar.
So I just interrupt you there. What are we talking about? We're talking about scars, bruises, broken noses,
broken chins, or not broken chins, but like the chins have been like, well, let's just say they've had some. I had a woman a while ago who had like Hoover bar across her face. It's quite bad.
Shocking.
So I've rebuilt noses, cheeks, jawlines. I had one young girl who came in who stepped in between an argument with her parents, and was basically had a part of her lip after she was thrown away. Her part of her lip was torn off. So that had to be rebuilt. You know, little things like that.
Yeah.
Some of the messages we get are quite harrowing. Some people are actually recovering from cancer, and some people are recovering from addictions, and their face is obviously aged due to the medication and the drugs they've been on. So I would help them with likes of facelifts in a nice way using the fillers. So we do like a 5 or 7 point facial, and it's something for somebody to come in and they feel much better about themselves.
And it makes a big difference. I mean, I suppose when we think about Botox and fillers and all these kind of things, we think of maybe the Kardashians or celebrities,
Kylie Jenner's lips or something like this. Yeah,
something like this. But we don't actually think of it for everyday life, because like if you've gone through, like, I don't know, as a teenager I would have had spots. I didn't have acne, but I'd have spots. And if I had a spot like that, the world could have just fell apart because I had a spot on my face, and no one else might have looked at it and saw it so much, but I would, and then I'd point it out to everyone so everyone knew I had a spot, right? So I'd imagine if you're living with something that somebody's done to you, that's huge.
You have this thing about yourself that your face is, you feel good on the outside, you feel amazing on the inside, and it just radiates from inside. If somebody's going around feeling shame for whatever reason, whatever the guilt has been put on them, it's actually not nice to hear some of the stories that we hear. But like, I feel very, very much, I'm like a mother hen when they come into me. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I can't take away the fact that you've had to experience this, or the kids have seen it, or, you know, and some of the doctors have been very good. They've actually had, like I had a letter from one doctor in particular saying this woman has had kind of a horrific thing. The waiting list for the plastic surgery is quite long. I'm afraid for her if she does anything. We've got her counselling and everything else like that. Is there anything at all that you can possibly do? So she would come in with the letter. I also spoke to the doctor with her permission, and he was happy with her results. She was a lot more settled in herself. She basically said to me it was the fact that the kids didn't have to look at something and put it back to an experience that they had growing up, made her feel so much better. The young girl that stepped in between the row with her parents that time, many years ago, that had the accident with her lip, when her mother came in with her, as a mother you want the best for your child. This woman came in and she had the weight of her world on her shoulders. It was almost like she was being brought in here to tell me how ashamed she was over what had happened. I told her there was nothing but she's not responsible for someone else's bad choice. I can try and fix what's happening there. I can make the girl a little bit more normalised. Unfortunately, society nowadays, you have a standard that you have to live up to. I myself have had to try and live up to a standard as well, and it's not doable. It messes with your mind. If you don't embrace what you are now, you know, it's just going to haunt you for the rest of your existence, listening to the likes of the Kardashians or some of those things. That young girl left with something as minor as a tiny bit of filler put into her lip. It made her lips look and mouth look a bit more normalised. What it did for the mother more is out of this world. You know, it's more for that woman to feel like she doesn't have to keep looking at her child with shame, with the fact that she had caused it, and guilt. And so it's little things like this as well. And especially some of the transgenders that come in, they're wonderful people. They come in and they have an idea of what they want to look like, and it's not like the Kardashians. It's not like, you don't see some of the celebrity photographs coming in. It's just something simple, like it's like some of the males, can you feminise my jawline? We'll give you a longer chin. You know, we'll give you some lips. It absolutely will make you a little bit more feminised. They're thrilled with it when they leave. Like, it's just something small. It's just a tweak in the right direction.
And I think walking in here today, this is the first time I've met you. This is the first time I've been in your clinic, and I'd be nervous. I'm not in my comfort zone. I don't spend times in clinics or places like this. And I must say, the welcome from your staff walking in at the reception, it's a very easy place to come. Like, in your mind, I think if you were to come in, you'd be thinking, oh, shan't I? You know, that's for everyone's going to be walking around like supermodels and all the rest. And I'm not saying your staff aren't, but I'm just saying when you arrive, you've got the smile, you've got the welcome, and it's a lovely place.
They're all trained to look after people with body dysmorphia, and they're very empathic. So somebody comes in with, again, like some of the emails and text messages that Robert and Vivian have seen, it's kind of harrowing for the stuff that they read, and it gets them. I know Vivian gets a bit upset reading some of the stuff that comes in, like she gets a bit welled up, so do I, she's a mum, you know, that way, but like, it's the fact that they're able to walk in the door and not feel judged. And especially where we're based here in Newbridge as well, we're in quite a busy area. So people are coming and going for different things, so nobody will pass heed. And because I'm a non-medic sculptor, we're a little bit more laid back than a normal clinic. So we're not very medical and send you in the door. And we do also consultations, and we do like different types of things. I'm trained to do an awful lot of stuff that some of the doctors actually aren't. And they're brilliant, they're absolutely brilliant, but like, it's just the fact that I'm a mum. I know what it feels to see somebody coming in the door and feeling so sick about themselves, and it's just like everyone comes in here and there's like a bubble of love and positivity.
It really is. It really is. So we talk about body dysmorphia. What is that? How would you sum in a sentence or two what body dysmorphia actually is?
It's constantly, let's say somebody loses weight and they keep looking in the mirror and they see a fat person looking back at themselves. If somebody has a form of body dysmorphia with their face, it's facial dysmorphia. They see a nose they don't like, or the gels that their granny has, or they start imagining their face is too fat. Because of the Kylie Jenner trend, I've noticed there's an awful lot of young girls, 16 and upwards, constantly coming in and saying, I need 4 or 5 mils of filler on my lips, because they're listening to other people. But they don't understand that everyone has a different anatomy, everyone has a different smile. Some people have an overbite, some people have an underbite. Some people actually have a thin line. It's like, do you ever see the Muppets, you know, and it's a straight edge on the mouth of the puppet. What happens is that they want to have these massive, big, gorgeous lips, but have this line. So they need to know, like, well, look, I'm a conscientious injector. I won't. I've seen some of the girls that go into some clinics and they get like 2 and 3 mils put in one go. That's very dangerous in general. Not just medically dangerous, but it's dangerous for that person as well. Because if that mouth is very tight and the mouth tries to close back down again, the muscle, it actually sends the filler in different directions. So they could have like,
I've seen that.
I think I spent all my time on Saturday here. We had like a couple of the model clinics that was in. Some of these people are coming in and they don't have botched lips. They just don't have the right shape for what the fillers are being put in, and the filler is going in different directions in the face, so then I have to correct it.
So what would happen, like, for example, if someone was thinking of having a lip filler, seeing as we're speaking on that, what would happen if they put in a small amount of lip filler, How long would that last? And what would happen afterwards? Would they have to top it up again to keep that shape? If they didn't want to keep that shape, would their lips go baggy?
No, not necessarily. So the first thing you have to realise is when they come in and they get the consultation sheet off us, we ask them questions as in, do they have a fast metabolism? Are they smokers? Are they on any sort of medication? These things contribute to filler breaking down faster. Another thing as well is that we found over a while is that these vapes are quite popular. So if you're constantly contracting muscles back and forward, you're going to move the filler. The other thing that we find is that a lot of people come in and they say, well listen, I want to have filler, but when I smile I lose like everything, it's just gone back thin. That happens, it's to do with the muscles, it's not to do with your face. It's just the fact that like the muscles are quite high.
Is that why people have this obvious Botox mouth pout thing?
Yeah. It's like a jump that goes upwards,
yeah.
like so. And then it's as well when you say to like they come into us, we have fillers that are for 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 9 to 12 months, and we've an 18-month filler. And it's quite good. I would use the likes of the 18-month filler for somebody who wants to have a really good change, like some of the trans or some of the people that come in as survivors. And some of the people as well who like to get lip fillers and know they last, we'll put them in. Your lips won't at all sag or go wrinkly. What happens is the filler will break itself down over time depending on your metabolism, medication, all different things. And your lips go back to normal. We're just blowing it out forwards and it just goes back.
Right.
Because remember, it's the muscle that they have there.
That controls it. And I suppose we're seeing a trend, we talk about body or facial dysmorphia and all the rest. People are getting younger. I mean, I'm actually a makeup artist, that's what I do. And I'm seeing the little dot on 17-year-olds. I'm not sure that they're even legally allowed.
No, they're not. You have to be 18 and above to have fillers.
Yeah.
I've turned people away. I've also found some of the parents are to blame for it. Now, social media, yes, Instagram are notorious. They see these well-known lip filler clinics in Queens and they put photographs up of their flash cars and how they live their life and their lips are out to here, you know. And then they want that. They want to look that certain way. So they begin to hate themselves at a young age, which is really bad to see. What happens is they come into us, we had a thing that happened on Saturday. It was a girl of 16 walked in and she was like, I want my lip fillers done, and her mum was with her. And the mum looked like she let her away with anything, and I was like, well no, I'm really sorry, give her 2 more years. If she still wants to, bring her back in. Yeah. We would do it slowly on somebody who's like that. We put like a $500,000 in, let them get used to the idea of the filler, let them understand what the filler is, and then like after a while then they can come back and have more put in. But there's an awful lot of like kids nowadays that want like the full on duck pout, you know. It doesn't suit their little faces and they're still growing. And I'm a mum of a 19-year-old so and a 10-year-old. I wouldn't put it into my own children's face.
It is scary. And I think that's why we're here with you, because you've contacted us to say, I want to be on board with your show, I want to come on board as a sponsor, and I really love what you're doing. And you can see that the way you're talking here, you're not just the sell. No. You're like, if this doesn't suit you, it's not going to happen, not under my watch, which is really promising to see, because the industry has gone crazy.
Madness. I have to laugh though, because I see some of the injectors that's out there, they put posts up where they have a brand new Audi this week and something else. My staff get paid first, my suppliers get paid second. The fillers that we do for the charity work is all free of charge. It's all far back, like I don't get any like charitable donations or anything else like that. I pay for them. So for every box of fillers we get in, we get an extra 10 in case somebody contacts us. So some of the profits go towards that. I actually don't pay myself a wage. So my husband will tell you, I think I have his cards maxed out to the 9 sometimes, like so. But it's
your baby.
Oh my God, it is. People need to know.
You mentioned about charity work. What's that exactly?
So we do an awful lot of free work on people with domestic violence. I look after men, women, sometimes young adults as well. Then we have the trans community as well. So some of them who want to come in and use, say, the clinic is normal and they don't want to have anything done for free of charge. Like we have a strict protocol about how we know who would need more. Some people are chancers nowadays, you know. So but you'd have like somebody would come in and they've like spent an awful lot of time in the middle of hormonal changes, or they're back and forward with doctors and they really want to have this as their next step. They can have some work done themselves and they pay for it. Whereas there's other people out there who aren't lucky to have the doctors looking after them, or for whatever reasons can't have the social and I suppose the family support to have some work done. They're the ones that we make sure don't fall through the crack, and we help them, because I think the suicide rate nowadays in Ireland is just too high for anyone's standard.
It is, and mental health issues are related to body issues and how we feel about ourselves, and that is why we are bringing you On The Plus Side, because we want to look at the plus sides of life. We want to not get people hung up on how I look. Yes, we need to improve how we look if we want to, we need to have the ability to do that. We need to be able to come to clinics like yourself or eat healthily and do all these things.
Oh, I'd love to eat healthy.
But we don't need to be ramming it in people's faces and say this is it. This is
so for what you do, empowering people in general is fantastic. So I see what we do, what you do. Actually, it works hand in hand. Like, it should be acceptable to look at like what you look like and who you are. You shouldn't have to conform to anyone's standards. I myself am sick of hearing, well, if your injector doesn't have a snatched face or big set of lips, or if they don't have a perfect face, would you be really able to trust them with a needle in their face? Well, yeah. Actually.
And it's scary because, like, I suppose when you look at a doctor, like brain surgeon or something, no one's judging what he looks like. They just want to know what he's going to do for them.
Yeah.
Look, Michelle, it's been lovely. We could actually go on forever and ever. In fact, we will. We'll come back and do another show with you because there's just an endless supply. Guys, you have been watching On The Plus Side. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you have all your comments down below for us. Follow us. Do all the things you need to do. Tune in next week where we'll be discussing fertility issues. So we just got some really exciting news here from Je Juve, and Michelle has an announcement to make.
We're currently looking for brand ambassadors. We have a program that runs every couple of months where we take normal people who are quite out there, good humoured, want to be real. They can come in and have treatments here every 3 months with ourselves. We just ask that you be open and honest, review us, and post some of the stuff that we put up. The more people that see our page, the more people we can actually help in the other clinics. So if you are interested in it, you can email us at jejuveaesthetics@gmail.com. Or also you can ring the number that's actually on the Je Juve Facebook, or even PM us, or even Sharon.
Perfect. That's great. So get on board with that.